So I think that there is a price tag to this change we're talking about, and we all must be ready to pay that price.
And the other aspect of this is, because you look at some of the, I mean, yes, it's clear that we need to ensure that you, if not reduce the barest minimum, eradicate corruption such that people don't fritter public funds, because many, I think a few, well, I say many of you who pay their taxes, who look to see what have you done with the ones that are paid. Right. It's in the same country that people look at the penal code and the laws that you have here, where certain crime never commensurate the kind of punishment that people get. So in terms of the laws that they also put in place, people like to see that, all right, if people misuse your data or people do certain things, they will also face the music. It's not just about squeezing the people, you must do this, you must do that. What about those who are custodians of this law?
I agree totally. There has to be accountability. There has to be consequences. The Nigerian laws, or the laws governing business and social and economic life in Nigeria, the laws are clearly stated. Enforcement has been a bit of a challenge over the years. I think what needs to happen is public officials or people who are put in various positions of authority, where there is clear evidence of abuse of that authority, they must be made to pay the consequences. The full weight of the law must come on them. Keeping people's data is very sensitive. Some people have even complained, why do we have a BVN if we had to do some verification process, biometric process for population census, for voting and all of that? Why can't we harmonize all of this? Now, so I understand those issues, and under normal circumstances, you would have expected that Nigerians will only have to do this thing once and for all, and your biometric data can then be useful for all manner of things. But the reality here is we have a current situation that I think ultimately will benefit the Nigerian economy. Yes, public officials have a duty to be responsible with the information that comes into their possession. I also believe ultimately that the end game is how to move the economy forward. Yeah. That's the end game. So everything we're doing, it seems several things are happening all at the same time. But I think there is a general alignment that we are in a difficult state. We need to take hard decisions to get out of this.
But the thing about that is that, I'm not a businessman, but those who we've spoken to are complaining about how there seems to be closing shop, certain things are not moving as they ought to. Hence the question, how do they get feedback in terms of these policies that they put in? They may be well intended on their part, but upon operation, it has a lot of adverse effects.
I agree with you. I am an operator in the Nigerian capital markets, so I know and I understand everything you've said. I interact with businesses who have been able to do very little this year.
Especially genuine businesses too.
Absolutely. There is a lot of uncertainty in terms of policy direction, the change of government, the election, and several things that have happened this year have all conspired to slow down businesses. People are, reports are talking about banks and the increase in bad loans. All of these are a fallout of the realities of today. Our singular foreign exchange earner has dropped, right? The price of that product or that commodity has dropped. So what that means is there is a devaluation problem, there is an inflation problem. Add these two together with uncertainty in terms of policy direction, then businesses will suffer. Right? At the last count, they said in excess of 110 million Nigerians are below the poverty line. So we have a critical emergency on our hands. Businesses are not doing well. If the businesses are not doing well, then the banks are not doing well. The fast-moving consumer goods companies, all of them, if you look at their results on a quarter-on-quarter basis, the results are worsening. So we understand all of that. But the question is, this is where we are today. what do we need to do to get out of the hole? So the first thing you want to do in the hole is to stop digging. Calm down a little bit. Look for strategic options and initiatives. Get a right team together. So I want to believe that the ministerial retreat that has started, when they come out of that retreat, I want to believe that everybody will have their marching orders. I believe that the Nigerian people, international investors, hopefully will start to get a direction of where this government is going as a fallout of that particular retreat. And after that, we all align. So let's assume that the year 2015 is a preparatory year.
And very quickly, when they come out, what will be the signs of recovery that we will see when we know, for us to know that they've started working?
Well, critical thing is the business community, confidence in the business community, school enrollment, for example, job creation, increase in agri production, because Nigeria has potential, vast agricultural potential. So it is all of these things coming together. Companies declaring stronger financial reports. That will tell you that they are selling more of their products and services, which means that the consumers now have capacity to buy. Those are the things. So we need policies that would reach the masses of Nigeria. Those 110 million people, we need to target them first. Get their children into school, give them qualitative health care, have some kind of social security measure for them so that they can actually now start to develop their own potential.
The question then will be, how confident are you that the team that the president has assembled will be able to achieve this?
It's an interesting team. It has a fair mix of politicians and technocrats. I am hoping that the technocrats would find themselves inside the economic management team. There are a number of names there that are very credible. I believe that if they constitute the economic management team, I believe that the economy will largely be under the supervision of the vice president. I believe that a strong team, if a strong team is in place, then the right kind of policies will come out. The right kind of signals will get to businesses, local as well as international. Because there are a lot of international investors who are holding on and just want to see what direction Nigeria is headed to before they start to bring their monies. Those that are already here, there is a possibility that they can increase their investments in this country. Then we also have the local businesses. The bedrock of any economy should be the SMEs. How do we get the SMEs engaged? We have 30-something, almost 40 million SMEs in Nigeria today. They should be the greatest contributor to the Nigerian GDP. So how do we make sure they have access to finance at affordable rates? So the central bank has all manner of intervention policies or programs and all of that.
Add to that, the interest rates, an age-long conversation.
Absolutely. No, so you have a CBN MSME scheme, 220 billion naira. I saw an article in the papers yesterday saying that only 40 billion of that has been accessed. So that is less than 20%. So the money is there, 5-year, 9% interest rate. That's the kind of money the entrepreneurs need.
Are we also worried about what this could mean for Nigerians living abroad, living in diaspora, who would ordinarily send funds and monies to also boost the economy? Doesn't this also place some kind of restriction on such kind of move?
Yes, talking about the BVN, I presume.
And the Forex.
And the Forex restriction.
Well, let me deal with the BVN first. I think the CBN's position is that they have granted yet another extension. So Nigerians in the diaspora who want to complete their BVN processes have up to the 31st of January next year.
But the thing about that part, sorry to intervene.
At a fee, at a cost.
Yeah, and in addition to that, there's a comment from Samuel Tutu who says, my cousin studies in Asia, can't register for BVN because there's no registration center in the country he's schooling.
Very good. I think there may be some legitimate challenges being faced by Nigerians in the diaspora. I want to believe that with technology, every Nigerian in any part of the world really should be able to go to the website of their banks, and I visited a number of banks' websites, and I have seen that provision has been made for Nigerians in different parts of the world. There are Nigerian banks all over in every single continent. So the question really is, if people have legitimate challenges, I think it's important they bring it to the attention of the CBN so that CBN can also compel the banks to do whatever is necessary to make that happen. With regard to the foreign exchange situation, reality is, if the naira continues to devalue or if the naira's value remains as it is, Nigerians in the diaspora will benefit from that, because every single dollar they inflow into Nigeria, rather than exchanging for 155 before, they will now exchange it for 197. So a devaluation actually encourages foreign inflow of cash from foreign sources. So Nigerians in the diaspora will have no problem with the fact that the naira is taking a bit of a beating against the US dollar. But what is critical also is, I believe that a lot of them see significant opportunities across sectors of the Nigerian economy. So in the agricultural space, in the solid mineral space, in the service sector, in technology. So there are a lot of sectors that have significant economic potential, and a lot of Nigerians who are skilled and exposed to various best practices in different parts of the world, first of all, are sending their capital, and some of them are actually relocating to join in this effort.
But I understand that there's an impediment, a hurdle about all of that, because some of them say that since that new policy of the CBN is such that if you had dollar deposits, cash, you can't, you can't transact in terms of, you can't move that money, even if you had deposited it several months before now. So you can't move it, no matter how much it is. And so those kind of policies, that uncertainty about it, they wonder, well, if I had deposited cash at that time, no matter how little, because they are genuine businessmen.
Correct.
So they are, again, uncertain about, they don't understand how that policy is retroactive.
Well, I think that a lot of awareness is required. Bottom line is this: legitimate funds from legitimate sources can be inflowed into Nigeria. So Nigerians doing legitimate business outside the shores of this country can, through the official channels, inflow their monies into Nigeria and have access to it. So I think the challenge is a lot of the unofficial funds. We used to largely run an informal economy. So a lot of the funding, the cash in the informal economy, is what is struggling to get into the formal economy. But if you have legitimate businesses and engagements, you certainly don't have any restrictions bringing in or taking your money out of Nigeria.
All right, Mr. Bayo Rotimi is a financial analyst. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much.
And we will be back in a moment. We have another perspective coming up as well, so don't go away yet.